Hello, everybody. Welcome to, man, it's been a while. Business is Hard podcast. It's been several months, obviously, since I have posted a new episode. And quite frankly, things have been a little chaotic for the last few months. We're coming off of a good year in 2022, but also a very challenging year. We had a lot of ups and downs, and some things happened towards the end, and then that kind of went into the beginning of this year. And really wanted to try to keep up with the podcast, among other things, but just given all the changes, and then opening up a kind of a new division whenever it came to the business, I just could not keep it up. And now kind of starting to get back in line to getting things kind of back moving forward again. And that's just one of the unfortunate things about business, right? Is that it's not always easy, it's not always fun. In fact, it's some of the hardest stuff, to be quite frank with you, that I've ever done and had to endure. And so, last few months have just been tough, but not going to get into that because now we're starting to look up and excited about some of the new stuff we have going on. The agency side is of the business, which is, as you know, I've been working on for the last 6.5, 7 years now, is going great. We've had to really, over the last 18 months or so, specifically last 10 months, have really had to do a deep dive into our agency business and what we wanted to be, and who we worked the best with. And that was a challenge in itself and was not easy. And some of the stuff that we've been dealing with, I think that it makes us stronger in the long run. But during those times, um, it's tough. It really is. We've had to let go of a lot of great people who I love and uh, still do and support. And that has been just some of the tough things that had to be done, unfortunately, not because we wanted to, but we were just kind of in a position where we had no other choice, and we had to kind of reorganize and figure out some things that we needed to do in order to get our business back on track from the agency side. And we were able to do that, but it didn't come easily. It wasn't something that you just kind of wake up one day and say, hey, this is kind of what we're focusing on now, and what we're going to be doing, and then everything just kind of keeps going from there. It's kind of the exact opposite. You've got to scale back, and sometimes you've got to become a lot more patient in order to put yourself in a position to scale up. And that's unfortunately what we've had to do the last 9, 10 months. And so um, it's I'm excited now looking back and kind of thinking of all of it, and just kind of hustling and the ripping and running and all that. You really don't have a ton of time to sit back and reflect and think about it. And I'm kind of doing that as I'm talking to you. I didn't even want to get in this part, like what I'm talking about right now on the podcast. It's not something that I wanted to talk about. I just started talking about it, and it made me kind of start thinking back on what the last 10, I guess it may even be 11 or 12 months last year has really looked like. Going from, man, some of the highest of the highs to the lowest, I think. And I've had some pretty big speed bumps over the years, not just from the business, but in my life. And but in the business, definitely. And this one, over the last year or so, has really just been probably the worst and the hardest. And by no means are we, back where we 100% want to be, but we are in such a better, healthier, um, and just a more focused and clear um, position than we've ever been in. And so while it wasn't easy or wasn't fun or um, mm, yeah, it wasn't cool. And it's kind of the dark side of business and entrepreneurship and all of that many don't talk about. And I'm not going to get into all of it, at least not here. I wanted to really get on and just create something new, let you know a little bit about what we're working on and why and what that looks like. Obviously, the agency side, Megan, my wife, who's over the account management team and all of that, has really been taking that on. We've formed some really good partnerships as well, and really just decided to stop trying to scale the agency side the way that we were. We were really trying to just increase our client base whenever it came to the agency side, and it just turned out that that just wasn't the right vehicle for who we are and what we're all about and what we're trying to accomplish and how we like to work and where we can best help others. And so we had to really look at that and adjust, make those right adjustments. And so now we are, it's not that we're not growing, and we're actually growing better now that we've kind of taken the pressure off the agency, and that's where I was able to really kind of step out from the agency side, and Megan kind of taking that side of the business over to really focus on some stuff that I'm really passionate about. Obviously, while digital has been my life for the last 6.5 years or so, mainly. Obviously, it's always been about how I got into the digital side of stuff, has always been about um, how I can sell more and be more efficient in sales without having to go out and cold call and all this other stuff. Like, how can I replicate? How can I make my life easier? How can I get my freedom back? How can I leverage the latest in tools and resources and tech and AI and all that? And that's really how the social and the digital side of stuff came about, because I realized that I could create some videos and get out in front of hundreds at the time, or whatever it was, thousands, whenever, instead of just going like I was doing more on the grassroots level, where I was doing networking events sun up to sundown, doing coffees and one-on-ones. And while those are still powerful, and some of the most powerful, uh, I guess, methods still, whenever it comes to business development, you still need to do all that. This was a way to really take things to that next level. And that's whenever I started dabbling in the world of social and digital and content creation, which morphed into what the digital agency came to, right? And so, um, it's always been about that. And so one of my passions has always been, and one thing that I've learned just over the years working the digital, before we really focused a lot on e-commerce. Main reason why we focused a lot on e-commerce, and a lot of people don't realize this either, is that quite honestly, I kind of just got tired and fed up with the more traditional lead gen type partnerships. And a lot of times, why that would lead to frustration is because the sales operations, the sales enablement systems, the processes, the follow ups, everything that needed to be done to see success whenever you start marketing and advertising would never be getting done. And then, people would get mad at us because they're blaming the leads at that point. And while there may be some validity to that, we don't know if you're not following up and selling correctly, or understand that this is not a referral or something along those lines. It's somebody who's seen your ad, but they're still cold. They're not warmed up. You got to change your sales approach, especially if you're not used to marketing and advertising. Kind of open things up in that way, and so um, we kind of got away from it. And I've always, for the last couple of years, just wanting to create something that's going to help people sell and to streamline things and become more efficient and be responsive and communicate the way that consumers want to communicate now. whether that's through social media or leveraging automation, AI specifically now, obviously. And so the last several months been really working on that because I've really analyzed what does it really take to grow your brand and grow your business and start getting strong inbound opportunities. And, obviously, I practice what I preach. And that's one thing that over the last 6 months or so, I've really been um, focused on trying to do more organically and not just from the paid side because I wanted to see for myself. So started posting video content consistently, got good editors, started doing multi-channel and testing that out and started seeing a lot of great results and then started moving some into beta where I've got small business owners that either have a sales rep or some sales reps or are doing the selling on their own. And the whole premise of it is you need to have at least three things, at least from the top end. There's a fourth one that I look at, and I've talked about it with my ABCD process or methodology, but I've kind of changed that to ABC squared because that fourth one is still another C whenever it comes to the methodology and the process. But it's been more clear to me over the last 6 months that this is what is needed. And the first thing that you got to have is which is awareness or attract. And you've got to be able to make people aware that you exist and do it in a way that's going to be valuable to them and gives them a reason to want to pay attention. And then once you do gain that awareness, you need to then be able to build, which is the B, which is build trust, build credibility, build authority, which is where the content side comes in, specifically video content. And so helping sales professionals or small businesses create content that's going to allow them to build that relationship with their consumer and stay in front of them so it warms them up to the fact and then gets them to take action at that point. So, you've got that awareness or that attraction, then you've got the building side of it, which is all important. But the main foundation of everything is conversion or convert, which is what the first C stands for, right? And that's where I realized over the years, most was missing was in the conversion side of stuff. You didn't have the right things in place. You didn't have the right follow-ups. You weren't able to, speed the lead wasn't there. You've got to be able to respond back almost simultaneously. You've got to stay top of mind. You've got to make it easy for them to book or schedule a call or an appointment or to buy. You've got to be able to be everywhere that your customers or clients want. And that's through social media, but obviously there's a lot of different social media platforms out there. So it's tough to manage them all. So you needed everything going into one place. And now having the ability to leverage AI and have them do qualifying and make sure they're helping run someone through the buyer's journey and prospect and generate leads through some type of an acquisition system whenever it came to creating some type of offer, value-based offer, lead magnet, whatever you want to refer to it as, and then taking them through a bit of a nurture sequence that provides them more information and more value, but warms them up to you, to your business, to your brand. So you're not having to do that. And then, once they do that, leveraging predictive AI in order to score those leads. And okay, they're opening emails, they're taking actions, they're clicking off links, or they're clicking on links, things of that nature, so that then you can reach out, or your sales team can reach out to them and introduce them yourselves to them. And then at that point, they should at least know who you are enough to feel comfortable at least scheduling a call or at least responding back to you. And these things are so powerful. And for a long time, whenever it came to the conversion part and having your sales operations and systems in place, small businesses didn't have the full capability to do it. Some of them, the majority of time, a lot of small businesses have some type of a system in place, but they're barely using it in the right way. They're hardly touching it, but they want to say that they've got it and they're using it. It's like, no, Um, Not at all. Like you're not even scratching the surface on what's available. So I wanted to really build something and create something that um, really leveraged everything that I and my team could come in and within a matter of days implement automation, implement the latest in AI that's personalized and customized. So it's almost like another member of your team, but can respond back and have conversations with your prospects and leads and create lead generation funnels that get people coming in and just starting to get nurtured and into your database, and then having predictive AI so that you can get that data, and having pipeline management all the way to full acting CRM and email follow-ups and text and booking funnels, and so that people could just go on and book, and allows you not to have to do a lot of that follow up and take that time. It's really acting as your inside sales rep, so to speak. And if you do have sales reps and leads are coming in and they need to be distributed to a certain sales rep at a certain time, or you want to kind of have a round robin so everybody gets a fair shake at the leads that are coming in, being able to help you with the sales operations and the conversions. And then obviously that takes to coaching and processes and consulting whenever it comes to techniques and closing and conversations and all of that, which is a big part of this as well. But really it was having the foundational pieces so that then whenever you do start marketing, you do start advertising, you do start prospecting, sponsoring, um, podcast or events or whatever it is to drive in new inbound opportunities, you've got something tangible that you can send people to that is designed to capture their information, designed to get them into your business and then allow you to stay top of mind, and do this through automation, but do it through automation that delivers your personalized and customized content in the right way possible and at the right times possible, so that it actually helps you do all the front end selling and the warming up, and by the time they get to actually wanting to speak with somebody. Because at the end of the day, let's realize that because we want to go out and talk to this person and get them on the phone and do all that, consumers don't want that this day and age. They want to go through. They want to digest the information. They want to figure it out and get to a certain level before they're ready to actually have a conversation with somebody. And so we want to be able to set that up, and we want to be able to make sure that that's happening ahead of time. But it can't just be generic stuff, and that's where a lot of people get a little jaded. And with the rise of AI, Chat GPT, and all of that, I think it's just going to get worse, which is why I'm so big on personalized, customized content, helping my clients that I've been working with to kind of test this program out and go through the processes with video content and having content sessions with them that literally they're just showing up for a half hour or an hour, and we meet virtually. I record it, take that recording, and then I am, and with my team's help, obviously, creating short form video content that stays in front of their audience and builds their brand, builds their credibility, helping them with their social media and staying out in the front way and being multi-channeled and omnipresent, and emails that continue to nurture their database, whether that's prospects that haven't converted yet or that's past or current customers. So everything that needs to be done to really build that brand, both short term and long term. And I've really just taken the things over the years that I know have worked for me and worked very well for others, and said, how can we really build something first that gives them a solid foundation, which is the most important, which is that conversion part. Because if you don't have that down, you can do all the marketing, you can do all the advertising in the world, but you're just going to be wasting your money, because you're pouring all that water, so to speak, aka leads, prospects, attention, awareness, into a water bucket that has nothing but a ton of holes in it. So if we can build something that we know is capturing every ounce of water that is going into that, then we've got something that we can really start to look at scaling whenever it comes to marketing and advertising. And then once we look at that marketing and advertising, the A, or the awareness and the attraction, obviously at that point, that's where we got to have a good offer. We got to have a good hook, a good lead magnet to get them into the initial funnel. Let the initial funnel do the nurturing. And then whenever they get more warmed up, either they're going to self book, or you're going to physically reach out, or someone on your team, or have an automation that reaches out whenever they hit a certain amount of touch points where they've engaged and interact. Very powerful. And then whenever they get into that, it's all about building, so that then we know, okay, now that they're in there, let's build that relationship with them by showing them videos of you or your team, or client testimonials, or user generated content, or case studies. I mean, on and on and on. That's going to continue moving them into feeling like they have a relationship, they have a trust, they have a bond with you and your business, your brand, which is then going to want them to move forward at that point. And they want to start booking. They feel comfortable talking because they know what to expect, and they're already warmed up to that process. And so all of this has really kind of come into play to now really be launching later this week. And I'm excited about it. Like I said, it's something that I've had and been wanting to do for a couple of years now, just really haven't had the opportunity to. And now it's really going to it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. And it's going to be extremely, extremely affordable for small businesses, because that is who I want to really help out with. So very excited about that. Excited about trying to get this back on a weekly schedule, or bi-weekly, not bi-weekly, doing it a couple times a week. Even it's just popping in, sharing some insights and things that we're seeing. But just be on the lookout of all that, and kind of just paying attention to what we got going on. Hopefully I'll have an announcement out here soon, and have a launch, and be sending all of that out. But if you have any questions, if you have any needs, anything that you think I might be able to assist you with, whether that's from a coaching standpoint or an implementation standpoint, like this system, which is going to be called Web Connect IQ. We have had it as part of our agency, but we really haven't utilized it. We more utilized it internally, but it has been our own. That's our own name and brand and all of that. So excited about it. Excited to really launch that out and start changing some small businesses' lives out there, and their path of growth. So anyway, just thanks for listening. Sorry it's been a long time, but I look forward to getting back into this and sharing thoughts and things that are coming whenever it comes to sales operations, sales processes, marketing, advertising, and obviously customer success, AI, tech, everything that we're knee deep in. And especially now with this new division, where we're kind of combining sales ops with marketing automation with customer success, it's going to be really, really awesome. And I hope that you at least check it out, or check out the demos whenever we come out with it.